Welcome to this deep dive, and today we're asking, well, what happens when a real-life marriage gets tangled up in the intense world of a Stanley Kubrick film?
Right. We're digging into Tom Cruise's thoughts on working with Nicole Kidman, who he was married to at the time, on Eyes Wide Shut.
It's such a unique situation, isn't it? You've got their marriage, the film's really heavy themes, and then Kubrick's famously demanding style all mixed together.
Absolutely. And for you listening, this gives some real insight into, a pretty significant movie collaboration, but also those dynamics between actors, directors, and life.
Cruise recently called Kidman's performance and his own, I suppose, a landmark achievement for both of them in that film.
Which is a big statement, especially considering Eyes Wide Shut is all about marital problems, dissatisfaction.
Yeah, it follows Cruise's character, Dr. Bill Harford, into this sort of hidden world after his wife, Alice, played by Kidman, drops some bombshells about their relationship.
And you have to remember they were both huge stars then, but taking on Kubrick, that was different. A real artistic commitment.
Definitely adds weight to Cruise calling it a landmark. The subject matter, Kubrick directing,
Yeah.
it all adds up.
It does.
How did Cruise even get involved?
Mm.
He mentioned Sidney Pollack made the introduction to Kubrick, and he talked to Scorsese about it too.
Right, and then in that first meeting with Kubrick, Cruise actually suggested Kidman for Alice. Said she had incredible talent.
So his input mattered right from the start, it seems, even suggesting his then wife.
Yeah, which I think says a lot about the professional respect there. His belief in her handling that really complex role.
Okay, but then the schedule? Kubrick apparently thought, what, 3 or 4 months?
That was the estimate, yeah.
And it ended up taking 15 months.
15. Because of reshoots, his perfectionism, it's
That's it.
legendary, right?
Totally. Spending that long immersed in that kind of material. Wow. That must have been a lot.
Oh, for sure. A huge test of commitment. And Cruise, he talks about how much prep he does, how he commits, but still, 15 months is exceptional.
It kind of makes you wonder how it affected them personally, doesn't it?
Exactly. Which leads to Kidman's perspective. There was that interview she did back in 2020.
Right. Where she was asked if playing Alice stirred up, like, negative feelings about her marriage to Cruise at the time.
And she was pretty direct about it. Said something like, that fits the narrative people came up with, but I definitely didn't see it like that.
She actually said, we were happily married.
Yeah, which really highlights how we, as the audience, can read so much into things based on the film,
Totally different from their reality, potentially.
It seems so. The film is about dysfunction, but that doesn't mean their marriage was falling apart on set.
And then there's that go-karting story. Did you hear that one?
Oh, yeah. That's brilliant.
Kidman said they'd go-kart racing together at like 3 in the morning after filming these super intense emotional scenes.
It just flips the whole script, doesn't it? It shows them finding a way to blow off steam, to connect outside of that heavy set atmosphere.
Yeah, like drawing a clear line between the work and their life.
Which must have been absolutely crucial, dealing with Kubrick and that kind of demanding project with such intimate themes.
And we should probably mention the timing of Cruise reflecting on this now. He's just been awarded a BFI Fellowship, which is a huge honor.
Huge. Puts him alongside some real cinema giants, so it makes sense he'd be looking back at key moments in his career.
And Eyes Wide Shut is clearly one of those key moments for him.
No doubt. Receiving that fellowship really cements his impact and his insights on making that film, working with Kidman under Kubrick. It's fascinating stuff for a movie that still gets talked about so much.
So wrapping this up, what we've seen is this picture of professional respect between Cruise and Kidman during a really tough long shoot.
Yeah, and a personal life that, at least according to Kidman, looked quite different from the dark themes they were exploring on screen, all under Kubrick's intense direction.
And it all comes together as Cruise gets this major career recognition.
So, maybe a final thought for you listening. How often do we project the roles actors play onto their real lives? And maybe, how does that intense creative process sometimes mirror, but other times, like with that go-karting, completely diverge from the personal reality of the people involved?